All right then guys, welcome back to another video from Reef Drama, and today we are going to be getting into this Hygger double quartz 800 watt heater that they have sent to me. So this is going to sort out the heating system that I want running in this pond. So without further ado, let's get you in and we'll have a look at the pond and we'll talk about what we're doing. Right then, so as you can see behind me, we have this 1,000-litre saltwater pond, and also behind it there is a 300-odd litre sump as well. Now, if you've already been following the channel, then you'll know that I've been basically putting this together. Also, I've been building this entire fish house that you can see in here, which has got an office down one end. We've obviously got the pond in the middle, and we've also got this full RODI unit that's behind me now. So the pond has been basically put together in here. This is mostly for my porcupine pufferfish that's in the 625 in the lounge, and also his friend, the orange shoulder tang. Now we are in the middle of cycling. You would have known my last video if you saw it. We officially got it salty, as you can see, by my t-shirt, officially salty. And we also added some blue and green chromies after about a couple of weeks of the tank just cycling on its own. So they are now in here somewhere. Now, well, I say somewhere, there's two still in here somewhere in amongst the rocks. Don't know where they are. The other three somehow managed to go down through the little overflows here and did the little wee through the pipe work. Two of them ended up in the reef mat, which I fished out and put straight into the sump. And the third one went down the end overflow here, which just goes straight into the sump anyway. So he just made it straight into the sump. So there's three in the sump, two in the pond somewhere. Don't know where they are. But we are still in the middle of the cycling. Now, with regards to heating, which is basically what this video is all about, as you've already seen, we've got the Hygger 800 watt double quartz heater that they have sent me for transparency. It was free, and then obviously I do this video. So at the moment, I have a D&D temperature controller on here with two 300 watt heaters. Now, also all the way around the pond, it's all fully insulated. So we've got this insulation going all the way around, all the way down the sides. It goes all the way across the back as well. Plus we have 150 mil insulation on the bottom as well. I've also now got these lids, which you can see up here, the polycarbonate twin walled lids. I've just got the light on just for aesthetics whilst I'm doing this video. The light's not normally on through cycling, but I've got these three lids, so that's obviously keeping the temperature in, the humidity down, and also evaporation down as well. Plus, as you can see with the sump, this is also completely covered with lids. So as far as heating it is concerned, and of course the fish house will also be heated anyway to start off with this electric radiator, and then eventually we'll probably have some sort of mini split AC conditioning unit, whatever, up on the wall there. So the actual building will be heated anyway. So these heaters in the pond are just kind of there just to sort of, you know, bring up the gap. I don't know what temperature I'm going to heat the room to yet, maybe 16, 17 or so. And then the heaters then will obviously bring it up the rest of the way. And at the moment I've got it set to 25 degrees on the temperature controller. So this Hygger is going to be the main heating element, I suppose, as far as this pond is concerned. And then the D&D controller with the two 300 watt heaters on it, which are here. And I've shown this in a previous video before, but I've got two of these on that D&D temperature controller. They will be like a backup. You never really want to just have one heater in your tank. Always ideally have a backup, and also always have your heaters on some sort of a temperature controller, whether that's an Inkbird, which I happen to have over here. You might just about see it through there. This is what I heat and run my salt water to in that bin there. So I use the Inkbird for that. And as I said, I've already got the D&D on the pond itself. So always use a temperature controller. That will be #1 rule. Always have a second heater, #2 rule. If one breaks, the other one is there to obviously back it up. It's all about redundancies, right? So let's have a look at what we've got here, and then we'll get it set up on the pond. All right, so the main things to point out with this heater is it's the double quartz. It's also the HG043, and it's an 800 watt. You can use this in salt water, or you can use this in fresh water. And you've got the variations in Fahrenheit here. And of course, in the UK, we generally use centigrade. So it's going to go between 15 degrees and 34 degrees centigrade. Now, apart from it being well packaged, you get the usual operations manual. We've got a couple of different ways of actually fixing the control panel to either the wall or the inside of your aquarium cabinet. So we've got a little hook here, which if we take that plastic off, you can either use the little hook when that's stuck on the inside of your cabinet, or on the reverse, you could always stick some double-sided tape onto there and then stick that onto the unit. Or best of all, what I'm going to use is this holder, and that will just literally clip down into it, and then that will fix it to wherever you want to fix it to. You can see it's also got screw holes there, as well as already a piece of 3M double-sided sticky tape on the back. For the heater itself, we've got the suction cups. Now we've got one spare, because on the back here, you've just got the 2 holes where you would pop that rectangle into that rectangle, and then you turn it 90 degrees, pop that one in there, pop a spare one just in case. So that's great. This heater will be going into my sump. I won't be putting it into the pond, just purely because although it's black, and yes, this pond is a plastic 1,000-litre Laguna pond, so it will kind of be hidden. However, I'm not a massive fan of this bright orange that pretty much goes all the way around it. Now, if you was using this in a planted tank for fresh water, then you could probably hide it with some plants and stuff. But for me, I just don't want it in the pond with this bright orange kind of going all the way around it. So it will be going into the sump, and then the controller will be going into my control panel that I'm building to go up on the wall behind the pond. Now, as I mentioned before, this is double quartzed heaters in there. Hopefully you can just about sort of see it. These are explosion proof as well. And there you go. You might be able to see it better through the back there. And it's got this nice kind of fish guard all around it, so that the fish aren't obviously going to get burnt by the heaters when they are actually on. This has got what looks to be a very long cable between the heater itself and the control panel, and then again from the control panel to the plug. Control panel we've already had a look at, so what I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to get it into the sump, get it into position. We'll get this hanging on the side of the pond so you can see it easily, and then we'll get into the actual control panel and the digital display that is here. Right then, so I have now fitted this into the sump, and I've just temporarily mounted the control panel on the side of the pond here. Now, it's also worth noting just a couple of things, that this heater comes in a 300 watt, a 500 watt, my 800 watt that I have, and a 1,000 watt as well. You also want to remember, obviously, when you're installing it, that you do all the usual drip loops and all that sort of stuff when you come to mounting all the wiring. Right, let's flick this around and then you'll see where I've put it. So down inside the sump, if I bring the camera in as far as I can, as you can see, it's just down there, which is right up against the back of the pond, as you can see there. So that's where I've put it, right at the very end of the sump. The third pipe over that's closest to us is the one that goes directly into the sump. So there is flow coming through this way, obviously, as well as from the reef mat. But I'll also be putting a crosswave or a wave maker of some sort on that back wall, so it is driving the water this way with some good flow, because you always want to make sure that wherever you do mount your heater, that it does have good flow around it. Now the other heater that I've got is just there. If I can spin the camera around, I've got it on that glass baffle there. At the moment it's up to temperature and it's happy. If we have a quick look at my D&D controller, you can see that it's hit 25 degrees and it's yeah, there you go, 25, 24.9. So it's turned off at 25. I've just mounted the control panel on the side here temporarily. It will be, as I've already mentioned, going into a control panel that will be up on the wall there, and we just basically got it plugged in down there. So let's put you onto the tripod and we'll have a look at this digital display. All right, so with a flick of a button, the control panel lights up, and straight away, well, we had 30 degrees there flashing. You'll notice now that it's got the red light going all the way around the outer edge of the digital display, which indicates that it is heating up. But we don't want it at 30 degrees. As I said, the pond is set to 25, and you saw with the D&D controller that it had just got to 25, 24.9. It wasn't 100% sure where it was. This is actually saying 24.6. So it'll be interesting to see if that sort of goes up a little bit in a minute to kind of match the D&D controller. But to actually set this 30-degree temperature to what we want, we just press the set button at the bottom. That will then start to flash, and then all you need to do is keep pressing the set button and it will go all the way up to 35 degrees, and then it will go back to 15. So you just keep going all the way around to exactly where you want it to be. So I want it at 25. As soon as you hit the temperature you want, you let go, you leave it, and then it will realize what it's doing. It wants to be at 25 degrees. It knows that it's at 24.6. So it is actually now heating up to 25. So one point with this unit that you haven't got the ability to do, whereas you do with like Inkbird and D&D and that sort of stuff, is that you can set the tolerances sort of to 0.1 rather than this is just a whole 1 degree, right? So this has to hit 25 for it to be happy. Then what it will do is it will then drop all the way down to 24 before it will kick back in again to raise it back to 25. So if I just had this one on the tank, on the pond, on its own, you've got like that 1 whole degree down to 24, clicks back in, goes back to 25, clicks off. As I mentioned, the red light indicates that it is actually heating, and you can also see the wattage there. So that's also interesting, the fact that it's an 800 watt heater and it's showing the current power that it's using is 904 watts. 907. It obviously keeps changing. Why that is, I don't know. If any electricians are on here watching this video, then it would be great to get the comment down below as to why it's displaying over 900 watts or drawing over 900 watts when it's actually an 800 watt heater. Anyway, on from that, the very big one at the top is obviously the current temperature. And we've also got a low and a high. So the high will flash and the alarm will sound if your heater is detecting your temperature of water is 34 degrees and above. If your heater is detecting that it is 15 degrees centigrade or lower, then the low light there will flash and it will beep as well. And we've also got here where it says auto shut off. Now that is if the heater realizes that it's partly out of the water, it will shut it down and you'll get this auto shut off light that will start flashing. So that's pretty much it really with this control panel. Nice and easy to use. 1 button, set it to the temperature you want, and yeah, set and forget basically. If you do turn the power off or you have a power cut, then it will remember the temperature that you've set it for. So if I turn it off now, for instance, set to 25 degrees, simulating a power cut, and then we turn it back on again, it will remember and it will go back to 25. It will also, because it's less than 25, kick back in again, as you can see the wattage ramping up. Now, there is also a load of different fault codes that will potentially come up if you're unlucky enough to have one, and you'll be able to go online and find out what those fault codes are. But if EE comes up on the screen, then it is a sensor fault and it would have to be returned back to the seller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this now running and probably give it a couple of days, and then we'll come back and I'll give you an update of how I've been finding it. As I say, this room is quite warm. If I show you, so if we have a look at the thermometer in here, then the room is sitting at 19.5 degrees. So already quite warm. And as I say, don't forget, it's all fully insulated and the lids are normally on. But for now, I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to monitor it, see how it goes, and I'll come back to you. All right there, guys. So it has been about 3 days now, and the Hygger temperature controller, which you can just see, is still on the side of the pond there, because I haven't yet still done the control panel that it's going into, but it is coming. Don't worry. And if you want to make sure that you're always notified of when that video is released, then just click the little notification bell, and as soon as that video is up and running, then you'll be notified. But the heater is doing a great job of keeping the temperature of the pond exactly where I want it. Now, this isn't sort of a longevity kind of test, obviously, because it's only been about 3 days. However, I can't fault it. At the moment, no issues whatsoever. So as you can see, it's just sitting there at 24.5 degrees. And obviously when it hits 24, as I mentioned before earlier in the video, it will then click on and it will bring the pond back up to 25 degrees. And I will, of course, keep you updated throughout the next sort of series of videos that I put out with how the Hygger heater is obviously getting on. I've still yet to install the power head down on this side of the sump, but that overflow pipe is obviously driving some water towards it. So, you know, it is getting some flow going past it, but I do want to increase it. And if you've liked this video, then please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, then, well, I really don't know why you're not. And it's very, very easy and doesn't cost you a penny to just click the little subscribe button, and it will be most welcome. So thank you very much to anybody that does. Now, that all pretty much just leaves me to say thank you very much to Hygger for sending me this heater and allowing me to obviously do this video. And hopefully I will see you all on the next video. Bye for now.
Easy go.